We should know this by now, but socialism is a philosophy of failure, the creed of ignorance, and the gospel of envy. Its inherent virtue is the equal sharing of misery. That is, unless you're the ruling class. If you guys enjoyed this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification icon, give it a thumbs up, and share it with everybody you know.
There's only one problem with the thief, and it's a universally recognized problem. Well, not just a problem, but something that is immoral. So what's the immorality we're talking about in the case of thieves? Well, they use threats, coercion, and force to take things that don't belong to them. Money, vehicles, jewelry, it doesn't matter. They work to forcefully deprive others of their property for personal gain at the expense of their victims. And universally recognized or not, it's wrong to take things that don't belong to you for one simple reason. It's that the perpetrators of these crimes wouldn't want anyone stealing from them. And that makes sense, right? You spend your time, effort, and energy to create wealth that benefits you and your family, and then someone else comes along and helps themselves to the product of your laboring energies. They didn't work for it, you did. To take it from you, no matter the reason, is to commit the crime known as theft. Any 2-year-old can understand this. Now, some might excuse away the actions of the thief by saying, well, he did it to feed his starving children, or to get his dying mother the medication she needed to recover. It doesn't matter the reason. The crime was committed by one individual, which created a victim out of another individual. The bottom line is that the act of stealing from one person to give to another is still theft. If you want to give it another name, we can also call it a social injustice. Regardless, it's immoral. And that same type of theft is the identical story, definition, and practical application of socialism. The way socialism is built and fleshed out is that it's the redistribution of wealth, which technically you can call the actions of a burglar the redistribution of wealth. Wealth is transferred from the hands of the victim to the hands of the thief. Now, dictionaries define socialism as an economic theory or system in which the means of production, distribution, and exchange are owned by the community collectively, usually through the state. And that's a nice way of saying the fruit of your labor is stolen by the state and given to people who didn't earn it. When you get the state involved, you automatically introduce the threefold aspects of force, coercion, and theft. Even George Washington recognized the reality of the evil of the state when he said, "Government is not eloquence, it is not reason, it is force. And like fire, it's a dangerous servant and a fearful master." But it's not just any force, it's unjust force. Because we gotta admit, there is just force, like when a person is defending himself or his loved ones from an aggressor. But the state employs unjust force where they perpetrate a crime on peaceful people in order to fund their social agendas. Socialism, in all its virtue signaling prowess, claims to champion the cause of the little guy by creating a playing field and atmosphere of equality. Propagators of socialism even say it's immoral and unjust not to create this equal playing field.
And what democratic socialism is about is saying that it is immoral and wrong that the top 1/10 of 1% in this country own almost 90%, own almost as much wealth as the bottom 90%. That it is wrong today in a rigged economy that 57% of all new income is going to the top 1%.
Those who stand opposed to socialism are seen as evil people who don't want to see other people doing as well as they're doing. And the irony is that these social justice warriors who proclaim socialism, which is theft and therefore is a grave social injustice, and condemn capitalism cannot hide their hypocrisy. For it is the very capitalism they claim to abhor that allows them to promote socialism while they themselves reap the massive benefits of a predominantly market-driven capitalist society. Socialism couldn't possibly give them what they're currently benefiting from because while socialism gives the illusion of working, because it still operates for some time off the momentum of capitalism, it ends up failing the very people it claims to help. And listen, even if socialism did work, which it doesn't, because it transfers wealth at the expense of the working class and creates even more poor, entitlement-minded people in the poverty-ridden class, even if it did work, it's still immoral. Redistribution of wealth is theft. Therefore, socialism is theft. To condone or support socialism is to condone or support theft. Period. Let's quickly note a little hypocrisy in so-called champions of socialism. Here's $100 million net worth Bill Maher talking to $150 million net worth Jim Carrey as they virtue signal their way through yet another pro-socialist segment on Real Time with Bill Maher. Both of these guys have obviously benefited greatly from a capitalist society where they, by the sweat of their brow, the ingenuity and stick-to-itiveness of their character, by employing their talents and sacrificing their time, were able to sell their services to people willing to pay to see them perform. They happily engaged in the voluntary transactions of capitalism, and they made a fortune. And now they sit here and hail the imagined virtues of a system that would have seen to it that nobody would have ever heard of Jim Carrey or Bill Maher. Two clips from the same show solidify Maher and Carrey's utter hypocrisy and just how disconnected their worldview is in regard to what's really going on.
But that word, if the Democrats need to get a plan to fight this slander of socialism. You're going to be living in Venezuela.
Well,
and I don't see it yet.
We have to say yes to socialism, to the word and everything. We have to stop apologizing.
So Jim's saying we need to say yes to the immoral theft of socialism and that we need to stop apologizing for it. But at the beginning of Maher's show, Jim does and says this.
Oh,
look
good.
Look at
check this out. I went out today and bought me some Nikes.
Oh, yeah.
Some freedom-friendly Nikes.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. As a salute to Colin Kaepernick, to Nike, congratulations on your fantastic choice. Thank you so much.
So Jim wants us to say yes to socialism because, you know, there needs to be equality and fairness in the world. But he gets up there and promotes a company known for exploiting underpaid, overworked sweatshop laborers in socialist countries. Something that would never be allowed in a capitalist society. And he, as a beneficiary of the wealth afforded to him by capitalism, flaunts a couple $100 pair of shoes, while others less fortunate than him struggle to put food on the table. But we need to say yes to socialism, and we need to stop apologizing for it. Right, Jim? Hey, all you rich people who want socialism. Stop preaching about it, divest yourselves of all your wealth, and give it to those people that you want to be equal with you. Oh, you're not interested in doing that because if you were, you wouldn't have a net worth of $150 million? Ha! Got it. Then why don't you guys sit down, shut up, and get away from us with all your hypocrisy? Hey, thanks for watching. If you guys enjoyed these videos, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification icon, give it a thumbs up, share it with everybody you know, and don't forget to sign up to my free email list through my website, highimpactflix.com. And also, if you could just take a couple minutes and subscribe to and hit the bell notifications of my backup channel, High Impact Vlogs, and my backup to the backup channel, High Impact TV. All these links will be in the description and in the pinned comment. I'll see you guys in the next heavily censored shadow ban video.